Your brain is lying to you right now. And not just a little white lie. We're talking about 35 massive deceptions that are reshaping your reality every single second. By the end of this video, you'll question everything you think you know about your own mind. A lie number 35. You're blind for 40 minutes every day. You are literally blind for 40 minutes every day, and you have no idea it's happening. You probably think you see the world continuously, like a movie camera recording everything. But actually, every time you move your eyes, which happens 3 times per second, you go completely blind for about 40 milliseconds. Scientists call this saccadic masking, and your brain literally shuts off visual processing during eye movements. That's 40 minutes of blindness daily that your brain completely erases from your consciousness. Right now, as you're watching this video, you're experiencing thousands of these micro-blindness moments. Your brain is seamlessly editing them out, creating the illusion of continuous vision. You're living in a carefully edited reality show, and your brain is the director you never hired. Lie number 34. Your memories are 100% fake. Every single memory you have is completely fabricated. You believe your memories are like video recordings of past events, stored perfectly in your brain. But here's the disturbing truth. Memory is reconstructive, meaning there are a lot of influences on the way we remember things. Memory is not necessarily a carbon copy of reality. Each time you recall a memory, your brain literally rewrites it, adding details that never happened and removing things that did. That amazing vacation you remember? Your brain has been editing it for years. You're essentially remembering a memory of a memory of a memory. Scientists can even implant false memories of committing crimes, and people believe them as strongly as real ones. Your autobiography is actually a work of fiction, written by your brain without telling you. Lie number 33. You see colors that don't exist. Half the colors you see every day literally don't exist. You think colors are just properties of objects? Grass is green, the sky is blue. But actually, your brain creates colors that aren't there in the physical world. Colors like magenta and brown don't exist in the light spectrum. They're complete fabrications by your visual system, created based on context and comparison. When you see a brown object, there's actually no brown light hitting your eyes. Your brain is making it up based on the colors around it. You're basically hallucinating colors every day and calling it normal vision. Lie number 32. You're constantly talking to yourself. You have an inner voice that never shuts up, and it's making you mentally ill. Most people think that little voice in their head is just normal thinking. But actually, you're literally talking to yourself nonstop, and this creates a cycle where your decisions reinforce your beliefs. Psychologists estimate you have about 60,000 thoughts per day, and 95% of them are the same thoughts you had yesterday. Your brain is essentially a broken record player. Try to stop thinking right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. Can't do it, can you? That voice never stops because your brain is addicted to its own chatter. You're trapped in a 24/7 conversation with the most repetitive person you'll ever meet, yourself. Lie number 31. You're hallucinating people's faces. Every face you see is partially a hallucination created by your brain. You believe you're seeing people's actual faces when you look at them, but your brain is actually filling in massive amounts of missing information and creating faces that aren't really there. Your visual system only captures sharp detail in a tiny area the size of your thumbnail at arm's length. When you look at someone's face, only their nose might be in sharp focus. Your brain fabricates the rest, the eyes, mouth, and expressions, based on assumptions and past experiences. You've never actually seen a complete face in your life. Just your brain's best guess at what one should look like. Lie number 30. You believe lies. Just because you hear them twice. Your brain will believe almost anything if it hears it twice. You probably think you're good at spotting lies and misinformation. But there's a terrifying phenomenon called the illusory truth effect that makes you believe false information. Studies have found that repetition increases people's likelihood of calling a false statement true, even if they originally knew it was false. Advertisers and politicians exploit this ruthlessly. That's why you see the same commercial 5 times during one show, or why political slogans are repeated endlessly. Your brain has the critical thinking skills of a goldfish. It forgets it already heard something and believes it all over again. Lie number 29. You're living in multiple realities simultaneously. You experience different versions of reality depending on your mood. You assume reality is consistent, that the same situation always looks the same to you. But your brain actually shows you completely different realities based on your emotional state. When you're happy, you literally see a brighter world. Colors are more vivid, people seem friendlier, problems appear smaller. When you're sad, the exact same environment becomes darker and more threatening. Your mood doesn't just affect how you feel about reality, it changes what reality you experience. You're not living in one world, you're switching between different worlds. You're not living in one reality. You're constantly switching between different versions of the world based on your brain chemistry. Lie number 28. You're unconsciously mimicking everyone around you. You're a puppet, and everyone around you is pulling your strings. You believe you're an independent person making your own choices. But you're actually unconsciously copying the behavior, emotions, and even the body language of people around you. Mirror neurons fire when you see someone else performing an action, making you unconsciously mimic them. If someone yawns near you, you yawn. If someone crosses their arms, you cross yours. You're constantly being programmed by the people around you. You speak faster when others speak faster. You become more aggressive in aggressive environments. You become happier around happy people. You think you're the main character in your life, but you're actually just a backup dancer copying everyone else's moves. Lie number 27. You remember things that never happened. You have vivid memories of events that are completely impossible. You trust your memories as accurate records of your past. But the Mandela effect shows that millions of people share identical false memories of things that never existed. Thousands of people remember a 1990s movie called Shazam, starring Sinbad as a genie. This movie never existed. People remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. He actually died in 2013. You probably remember the Monopoly man having a monocle. He never did. You might remember Pikachu having a black tip on his tail. He doesn't. These aren't small details. They're confident, detailed, false memories. You're so confident in your false memories that you'd bet money on events that never happened. Lie number 26. You're addicted to your own stress. You're literally addicted to anxiety and stress, and you don't even know it. You think stress is just a natural response to problems in your life. But your brain actually creates stress and anxiety when there's nothing to worry about because it's chemically dependent on stress hormones. Your brain releases cortisol and adrenaline during stress, which can become addictive. Ever notice how you worry about things that haven't happened yet? Your brain is literally manufacturing problems to get its next hit of stress chemicals. You create worst-case scenarios in your head, not because they're likely, but because your brain craves the chemical rush. You're a stress junkie, and your brain is your dealer pushing anxiety on you 24/7. Lie number 25. You fall in love with things just by seeing them. You fall in love with people, products, and ideas simply by looking at them repeatedly. You believe your preferences are based on logical reasons and genuine attraction. But the mere exposure effect makes you like things just because you've seen them before. The more you see something, the more you like it, regardless of its actual quality. That song you initially hated on the radio? After hearing it 10 times, you probably started liking it. That person you see every day at work? You probably find them more attractive now than when you first met. Your brain is falling in love with familiarity, not quality. You're not choosing what you like. You're just falling in love with whatever your brain sees most often. Lie number 24. You're completely wrong about your own abilities. You have absolutely no idea how good or bad you are at anything. You probably think you have a realistic sense of your own skills and abilities. But the Dunning-Kruger effect shows that people with low competence overrate their skills, while people with high competence underrate theirs. The less you know, the more confident you feel. People who are terrible at driving think they're excellent drivers. People who are bad at their jobs think they're star performers. Meanwhile, actual experts doubt themselves constantly. The worst performers are the most confident, while the best performers think they're average. Your brain's self-assessment system is so broken, it gives you an A+ for work that deserves an F. Lie number 23. You're living in a delayed reality. Everything you experience happened 80 milliseconds ago. You think you're experiencing life in real time. But your brain takes time to process sensory information, meaning you're always living in the past. This processing delay creates a constant gap between reality and your perception of it. When you catch a ball, you're actually predicting where it will be, not reacting to where it is. Your brain is constantly making predictions about the future based on old information. You're not living in the present. You're living in a carefully constructed prediction. You're not living in the present. You're living in a carefully constructed prediction of what the present should be. Lie number 22, your brain edits out your nose. Your nose is in your vision right now, but your brain has completely erased it. You assume you see everything in your field of vision. But your nose is literally blocking part of your view, and your brain edits it out so completely you never notice. Your brain doesn't just ignore your nose, it actively removes it from your conscious experience. Close one eye and focus straight ahead. Your nose is right there, but your brain has made it invisible. It's like having a permanent Instagram filter that removes your nose from every moment of your life. Your brain is constantly photoshopping your reality. Your brain is so embarrassed by your nose that it's been photoshopping it out of your life since birth. Lie number 21. You think you're smart, but you're actually predictable. You think you're a unique individual, but you're actually frighteningly predictable. You believe your thoughts and decisions are original and reflect your unique personality. But cognitive biases make everyone fall for the same mental shortcuts and make the same predictable errors. Marketers can predict your purchasing decisions, politicians can predict your voting patterns, and algorithms can predict your behavior better than you can. You're not unique. You're just another data point in humanity's predictable patterns. Your individual choices follow the same patterns as millions of other people. You're about as unique as a McDonald's hamburger. You think you're special, but you're made from the same predictable ingredients as everyone else. Lie number 20. You only look for evidence that confirms what you already believe. You don't search for truth, you only search for confirmation. You think you're open-minded and willing to change your opinions when presented with facts. But confirmation bias makes your brain actively seek out information that supports your existing beliefs and filter out anything that challenges them. If you believe a political candidate is corrupt, you'll notice every scandal. If you support them, you'll focus on their achievements. Same person, same facts, completely different reality. You literally see what you want to see. Your brain is like a security guard that only lets in information that agrees with you. Your mind isn't a library of knowledge, it's an echo chamber you built yourself. Lie number 19. You keep making bad decisions because you hate admitting you've wasted time. You waste your life because you refuse to admit you've already wasted time. You think you make rational decisions based on current circumstances. But the sunk cost fallacy makes you continue bad decisions just because you've already invested in them. You stay in terrible jobs, watch boring movies, or maintain toxic relationships simply because you've already invested time in them. You've sat through a 2-hour movie that was awful after the first 30 minutes, simply because you already paid for the ticket. Your brain would rather waste more time than admit the first investment was a mistake. Your brain is a terrible gambler, constantly doubling down on losing bets to avoid admitting it's already lost. Lie number 18. You think everyone is watching you. You think you're the center of the universe, but nobody is paying attention to you. You worry about how you look, what you say, and how others perceive you. But the spotlight effect makes you drastically overestimate how much attention others pay to your appearance or actions. That stain on your shirt? That awkward thing you said? Most people don't notice, don't care, or forget within minutes. You've avoided going to the gym because you think everyone will stare at you. Reality: they're all too busy worrying about their own appearance to notice yours. You're living under an imaginary spotlight that only you can see. Lie number 17. Your first decision controls. Every decision after that, the first piece of information you hear becomes unshakable truth in your mind. You believe you evaluate each decision independently based on its merits. But anchoring bias makes your brain anchor to the first piece of information it receives and use that as a reference point for all future decisions. If the first price you see for a car is $30,000, you'll think $25,000 is a great deal. If the first price was $20,000, you'd think $25,000 is expensive. Same car, same price, completely different perception. Salary negotiations, house hunting, even restaurant choices. Your brain isn't making independent decisions. Your brain doesn't make decisions. It just haggles with the first number it encounters. Lie number 16. You can't make decisions when you have too many options. More choices don't make you freer. They make you paralyzed. You think having options is always better than not having options. But choice overload makes you unable to decide when faced with too many alternatives, or makes you less satisfied with whatever you choose. Grocery stores with 50 cereal options sell less cereal than stores with 10 options. Dating apps with unlimited matches lead to fewer actual dates. You've spent 20 minutes staring at a restaurant menu with 100 items and ended up ordering what you always order. Your brain wants freedom but panics when it gets it. Your brain wants options, but when you give it a long menu, it orders what it had last week. Lie number 15. How a question is asked changes your answer. You can be manipulated to make different decisions about the same issue just by changing a few words. You believe your opinions are based on facts and personal values. But framing effects make you respond to how information is presented, not what the information actually is. 80% lean beef sounds more appealing than 20% fat beef, even though they're identical. Politicians don't present facts, they frame them. Tax relief sounds better than tax cuts. Climate change sounds less scary than global warming. Same reality, different emotional response. You're not a rational decision maker. You're an audience reacting to reality's marketing tricks. Lie number 14. You feel better. Just because you believe you will. Your mind can heal your body with a sugar pill. You think medical treatments work because of their chemical properties. But the placebo effect shows that if you believe a treatment will work, your brain can create real physiological changes, even when the treatment has no medical effect. Patients given fake painkillers report less pain. People given fake antidepressants show real improvements in mood. The belief in healing literally creates healing. Your brain is powerful enough to reduce pain, boost immune function, and alter neurotransmitter levels. All because you believed a sugar pill was medicine. Your brain is the world's most powerful quack doctor. Lie number 13. You won't help someone. If other people are around, the more people who witness an emergency, the less likely you are to help. You believe you're a good person who would help someone in need. But the bystander effect shows that you're less likely to help when others are present because of diffusion of responsibility. Everyone assumes someone else will act. People have died while crowds watch, everyone thinking someone else would help. You see someone collapse on a busy street and look around for someone else to help first. Your compassion has a switch, and it turns off when you're in a crowd. Your compassion has an off switch, and it activates whenever you're in a crowd. Lie number 12. You think random events have patterns. You believe you're due for a win after a losing streak. You understand that coin flips and dice rolls are random. But the gambler's fallacy makes you believe that random events are influenced by previous results. If you flip heads 5 times in a row, you feel certain the next flip will be tails. Your brain sees patterns in pure randomness. Lottery players pick numbers that haven't come up recently. Basketball players think they're hot or cold. Casinos make billions from people who think they can beat randomness. Your brain is a conspiracy theorist seeing grand plans in pure chaos. Lie number 11. You think your future will be much better than reality. You're the main character in a romantic comedy, even when you're living in a tragedy. You make realistic plans based on past experience. But optimism bias makes you believe you're less likely to experience negative events and more likely to experience positive ones than other people. Most people think they're less likely to get divorced, go bankrupt, or get cancer than the average person. Yet statistically, half of marriages end in divorce. You're planning your life assuming everything will go perfectly, while simultaneously knowing that life rarely goes according to plan. Your brain is writing a happy ending to a story it's not even halfway through. Lie number 10. You don't see things right in front of you. A gorilla can walk right through your field of vision and you'll miss it completely. You trust your attention to show you everything important. But inattentional blindness makes you completely miss obvious, unexpected things when you're focused on something else. In the famous gorilla experiment, people counting basketball passes missed a person in a gorilla suit walking through the scene. You've walked past the same store 100 times without noticing it. Your focus is so powerful it creates blindness. You can miss a gorilla because you're counting basketballs. Your focus is a flashlight in a dark room. It shows you one thing by hiding everything else. Lie number 9, you only notice things after you learn about them. The moment you buy a red car, you start seeing red cars everywhere. You think you notice everything important in your environment. But the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon makes you suddenly notice things that were always there but were invisible until you learned about them. The red cars didn't suddenly multiply, your brain just started filtering them into your awareness. You learn a new word and suddenly hear it everywhere. You buy a specific model of phone and suddenly see it in everyone's hands. Your brain has been editing out information without telling you. You haven't discovered a secret of the universe. You've just opened your eyes for the first time. Lie number 8. You hate losing more than you like winning. The pain of losing $100 is twice as strong as the pleasure of finding $100. You think you weigh gains and losses equally when making decisions. But loss aversion makes your brain programmed to avoid losses at all costs, leading to irrational and overly cautious decisions. You stay in a dead-end job because leaving feels like losing security. You keep a broken appliance because throwing it away feels like losing money. Your brain treats every change as a potential loss. You'll drive across town to save $10 on a $50 purchase, but won't drive across town to save $10 on a $500 purchase. For your brain, life isn't about winning, it's just about not losing. Lie number 7. You only pay attention to success stories. You only hear from the winners, and you think winning is easy. You look at successful people for inspiration and guidance. But survivorship bias makes you focus on successful people while ignoring all the people who tried the same thing and failed. You see college dropouts who became billionaires and think, dropping out is smart. You don't see the millions who dropped out and are now struggling. Every entrepreneur tells you to follow your dreams and take risks. You don't hear from the entrepreneurs who followed their dreams, took risks, and lost everything. Your brain is taking business advice from lottery winners. Lie number 6. You think present you and future. You are different people. You treat your future self like a stranger you don't care about. You believe you're making decisions for yourself. But temporal discounting makes you treat your future self like a different person, which is why you procrastinate, eat unhealthily, and don't save money. You eat junk food because the consequences will be felt by future you. You don't exercise because future you will deal with the health problems. You stay up late watching Netflix because future you will handle being tired tomorrow. You spend money you should save because future you will figure out retirement. You're constantly sabotaging the life of the person you're guaranteed to become. Lie number 5. You think you're the exception to every rule. Rules apply to everyone else, except you. You understand that statistics and probabilities apply to populations, but you have a blind spot bias where you think you're the exception to every rule and statistic. You text while driving because you think you're different from the people who crash. You think you won't get addicted because you're stronger than other people. You think your relationship won't end in divorce because you're different from other couples. You think you won't get that disease because you're healthier than other people. Your brain thinks it's the only one in the world that actually read the instruction manual. Lie number 4. You remember the past as better than it was. You long for the good old days that were never actually that good. You trust your memories to give you an accurate picture of the past. But rosy retrospection makes your brain filter out the negative and boring parts of memories, leaving only the highlights painted with rose-colored glasses. You remember childhood summers as endless and magical, forgetting the boredom and frustration. You remember your college years as the best time of your life, forgetting the stress and uncertainty. You think your old job was better than your current one, forgetting why you left. You think your hometown was perfect, forgetting why you moved away. Your brain is a documentary filmmaker that turns stressful vacations into award-winning adventure films. Lie number 3. You think projects will take half the time they actually take. You think that project will take 2 hours, but it actually takes all day. You make plans based on realistic estimates of how long things take. But the planning fallacy makes you systematically underestimate how long tasks will take, even when you know similar tasks have taken longer in the past. Even when you know past projects took longer than expected, your brain insists this time will be different. You optimistically ignore Murphy's Law. You budget 2 hours to clean your house and it takes 6. You plan a quick trip to the store and it takes all afternoon. Your brain is a project manager who always overpromises and never delivers on time. Lie number 2. Time moves faster as you get older. Each year passes faster than the last, and it's not your imagination. You think time passes at a constant rate. But time perception changes with age because each year represents a smaller fraction of your total life experience. For a 5-year-old, 1 year is 20% of their entire life. For a 50-year-old, it's only 2%. Your brain experiences time proportionally, so your years are literally shrinking. Summer vacation felt endless when you were a kid, but flies by now. Holidays seem to come faster each year. You're speeding toward the end of your life, and your brain is the one pressing the gas pedal. Lie number 1. You think. Understanding. These biases makes you immune to them. The final and most subtle lie, you think you're no longer fooled. You believe that learning about cognitive biases will help you avoid them. But knowing about a bias doesn't prevent you from falling victim to it. Awareness is not an antidote. You can understand confirmation bias perfectly and still seek out information that confirms your beliefs. You can know about the halo effect and still judge people by their appearance. Your brain just heard all of this and thought, that's interesting how other people's minds work. Good thing I don't have these problems. Your brain just heard all of this and thought, interesting how other people's minds work. Good thing I'm not like that. And that's the biggest lie of all, the ultimate truth. Here's the ultimate disturbing truth. After learning about all 35 of these deceptions, your brain is still lying to you. It's convinced you that you're now immune to these biases, that you're different from everyone else, that you're the exception to the rule. But here's the paradox. The only way to work with these biases is to accept that you can't eliminate them. You can't debug your brain like a computer program. These lies aren't bugs. They're features that helped our ancestors survive but aren't designed for the modern world. The goal isn't to become a perfect rational machine. It's to develop intellectual humility. To recognize that your perception of reality is a construction, not a recording. Every memory is edited, every decision is biased, every sensation is interpreted. But here's the empowering part. Once you accept that your brain is systematically unreliable, you can start making better decisions. You can seek out disconfirming evidence, delay important choices, and build systems that account for your predictable irrationality. Your brain will never stop lying to you. But now you know what to listen for. Which of these 35 lies shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments. I want to know which deception broke your brain. And if you're ready to dive deeper into how your unconscious mind controls your life, smash that subscribe button. We're just getting started.